Shalom, shalom. Welcome to the third episode of Pirkei Machshavah. Previously, we said that Avraham Avinu was called Rosh HaMa'aminim, or the head of all believers, not because he was the first person to recognize and serve Hashem. We said that belief in God existed before Avraham Avinu too. Rather, he was called the head of all believers because of his emunah, or belief in himself, in who man is and what he's able to accomplish. He was the first man to investigate and realize with his own mind that Hashem's satisfaction comes from lowly man. This was his revolution, this understanding that the creator of the world needs me and what I have to give. But what can I give to the creator of the world? Hashem doesn't lack anything, so what can I give him? Before answering this question, let's review a halacha quickly. According to Jewish law, one person's life doesn't take precedence over another's. For example, if, God forbid, a group of terrorists lays siege to a Jewish town and they make the following offer. Imagine they would say, God forbid, if we would give over one single Jew to kill, they would set the rest of the Jews free. Hashem's will, as expressed by halacha, is that all should die rather than commit the sin of giving over one Jewish life to be murdered. Imagine, God forbid, every Jew from Avraham Avinu all the way down to the last Jew would be lost. Hashem is willing, so to speak, to cancel the entire plan of creation just so one Jew may live one more minute. This forces you to realize this truth, that I, with all of my failures and shortcomings, am as valuable to Hashem as the entire world. Again, we come back to the same question. What do I have to offer that Hashem wants me so bad? The Chazal say in the Midrash that when Israel does the will of Hashem, they add a strength to the power above. But when they fail to do the will of Hashem, they weaken the strength above. Does Hashem lack? Hashem doesn't lack anything. So how can you add or take away from his strength? Another example. Regarding Avraham Avinu's trait of chesed, or loving kindness, the Chazal ask, who is a chassid? And they answer, the one who bestows kindness on his maker. But how can you give kindness to Hashem? Hashem doesn't lack anything. Another example. Every Friday night, when we take the Kiddush cup and we say, Yom HaShishi v'yicholu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzava'am, the Chazal say that when you say those sentences, you become partners in creation with Hashem. But how is that even possible? Because when you think of it in business terms, when does somebody take a partner? When the partner brings something new to the table that you lack. This could be new skills or talents, or more capital, for example. But we know that Hashem doesn't lack anything. So how can we become partners with him? The answer lies in a somewhat strange sentence in Talmud. The Talmud says that every day, every person must say, Bishvili nivra haolam. The whole world was created for me. This applies to me, and it also applies to you, and it also applies to your spouse, to your neighbor, to your friend, to your parents, everybody. Because the whole world was created for man, each person is an entire world unto himself. That's why one person's life doesn't take precedence over another. But what does it mean the whole world was created for me? To answer this question, first you need to ask a different question. What was the purpose of creation? The Ramchal and the Arizal reveal in Kabbalah that at the root of the creation lies Hashem's desire to bestow goodness on others. That's why Hashem has created creatures that are lacking and are in need of receiving goodness. Because by bestowing goodness on them, Hashem reveals his infinite and endless trait of chesed, or goodness, or loving kindness. Have you ever noticed that in the blessing Borei Nefashot we say, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, Borei Nefashot rabot v'chesronan. Hashem, you are the creator of numerous living beings and You have created creatures with lacking because you want to bestow your goodness upon them. There is nothing in this world that's absolutely good in every aspect except for Hashem himself. That's why the greatest good that may be given is that the creatures of Hashem should cleave to him, who's the ultimate goodness. But which one of the creatures has this merit? Only man, who's the crown of creation. This was the goal of creation. As Ramchal writes in the first chapter of Mesilat Yesharim, for man was created for the sole purpose of delighting in Hashem and enjoying the radiance of his Shekhinah. For this is the true delight and the greatest pleasure that could possibly be. But what does it mean to cleave and adhere to Hashem? We will find the answer to this question, Bezrat Hashem, next week.